Oh yeah, what's up? It's Demented, and today I have a different video, and that's basically a main sport tier list. I made a backline tier list pretty early in the season, or actually preseason, I think, and I don't exactly remember what I had for it, but this is like specifically main support, and I'm pretty sure in terms of reviewing, I've ran through pretty much all of them. So for that reason, I'm really fucking excited for this actually. I actually had a different video planned for today, but I recorded an entire Violet review while I was muted, which sucked, but I don't want to stay on this too long. So, I just want to start by putting, I think, Faith B tier, solely just because I mean, my video is literally titled The Gatekeeper. So pretty much if you're performing worse than him, I know where you stand. If you're performing better than him, I know where you stand. So, and also, like, I mean, I was even in my like recent actual, I guess I did this on Twitter. I did this and put, like, just for example, like Moth and like B tier, because I was like, I don't want to get yelled at. So I did that, and then after doing the review, now that I've like fully gone through everyone, I believe I feel like I have a pretty solid grasp of everything. So I'm hoping that I can make a solid tier list and defend everything, but I don't know how much I'm going to use like A and C tier actually, but for Jexay, oh god, you know, Jexay will actually be C tier. I think he, if he really wanted to, he would possibly have potential to be decent. I've heard he talks pretty solidly, and he's like a leader in that aspect, so I guess that's one redeeming quality that makes up for everything he lacks in gameplay, which also leads me to Moth. Fuck Moth. I still do not understand how he's even in contention as a top main support, especially after my fucking review of him. That was horrible, but I don't want to stay on that too long. I mean, in general, I don't think his Brig or Lucio is up to par, as well as there's holes in his Mercy play, which is supposed to be like his kind of saving grace to some extent, or even some people think his Lucio's a saving grace, and oh man, I feel sorry for those people. Anyways, fuck, I think I can go to inspect. So this is Onimo. Okay, so so in terms of Onimo, you know, my Onimo never really stood out to me, still doesn't, and I mean, I wasn't appalled by his gameplay, so I was a little, you know, I wasn't upset by it, but wasn't overly impressed. I mean, same thing with Masa, but I think because Masa is so like well versed in his flexibility, that's what I loved about watching his gameplay. Which, if we're talking about well versed, I don't think you can talk about well versed people without talking about Nisha, and I think I might put Evil Tool up here too. I mean, recently I did my Evil Tool review, and holy shit, these two, how did no one else do their job in scouting? Like, or is it just because they don't want to work with Chinese players or whatever? Because these two are fucking nuts. I mean, I knew that Nisha would be fucking crazy, but not to the extent that he has been, especially from how much he's been able to distance himself from the competition. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. Okay. I'm already running into a predicament. I'm gonna move Jexay and Moth down to D tier, because I wanna say that this is purely off gameplay. because I am not impressed by either of these two's gameplay, and I don't have comms to go off of, so I don't know how well versed they are as a leader. The reason I'm moving these two down is because Closer actually has redeeming qualities to his gameplay, being his Lucio mostly. Now obviously his Brig was utter shite, but like it's whatever. I think there was some upside to it, which also I think I put Onsun J there as well, which was honestly a little bit surprising because I thought he'd be much worse. And also, just I guess to briefly touch on this, so Neptuno is here. So instead of Neptuno, I'm just gonna use that as Dredro. But I mean, like up to this point, I can go a little bit more in depth with all these guys towards the end. But in terms of FD God, FD God has never wronged me. I don't think he's done anything gameplay wise that will have like offended me, and honestly, like, he's one of the people that I'm not too scared to watch their gameplay, besides the fact that like Violet is playing main support now, which after watching, I don't know why they are doing it whatsoever. Like the fucking Violet Lucio stocks are not up. They are not up. Anyways, Juby. So Juby, I want to put in A tier solely because I think Juby. I mean, I said in the past, I said in my review that Juby has potential. As well as I think Juby is a lot more well versed than people give him credit for. Like, I'm also made a video like, what the fuck is Houston doing with their backline? Because Juby, from what I saw, was just about as well versed as you could get with a main support. Yet they kept putting Jake in for like Brig, and they're like, it's a leadership diff, or it's a comfort pick diff, and even Juby was saying like, yeah, I think it's just because of different comfort picks, when in actuality I don't think Juby was doing horrible. Anyways, moving on to Mondu. Not a chance. As well as Dredro, not a chance. I mean, for both of these two, it kind of goes without saying if you watch my reviews of either of them. I mean, Neptuno, or not Neptuno, but Dredro literally had points in his gameplay where, granted, at the time he was playing on ping, which I can understand was horrible, but I don't think ping makes you make bad macro decisions. So for that reason, I will have to say that he's probably gonna be D tier. Kelix, I think Kelix has some upsides, not very many. I'm not overly impressed by him, and also I can like sort all these guys out in like actual order towards the end. But Fire, I had, oh man, I really wanted Fire to be decent, because like I was like, man, he didn't get that much playtime on Rain. What if they just got the ultimate sleeper pick on the bench? I was so hyped to fucking see what he could bring to the table, and he just did not show up. Anyways, this is IDK. IDK has, I want to say IDK is pretty mid. I don't think he's horrible. Not as bad as people make him out to be. His Lucio gameplay is also definitely up there, obviously. And I don't know whether I should touch Mika or not, because I don't think Mika's played. In an ideal world, I would probably say through the past. In my head, I would say Mika is probably low A tier, high B. But for the sake of argument, since Mika has not played very much, I will not lead them or not keep them so far in the tier list. So that brings me to Funny Astro. Funny Astro, Definitely was not what I was thinking he would be when I after I reviewed him. I thought it would be a lot more polished, a lot more, um, just a lot more well versed. I might actually have to put him at B tier. But funnily enough, that still makes him a top contending NA support or an NA main support. Slime, bad. We we watched that. That was horrible. That was a rough one. Lijigon, I think Lijigon needs a lot of polish. If Lijigon really polishes up his work, I think there's potential there. So that leaves us, I guess this is Toby. So Toby, I'll put in C tier. Not overly offensive, but for the most part, was not feeling it while I watched their gameplay. So to, I guess, kind of go over all of these. Well, first off, let's pick the order. So I think Funny Astro's up here as well as FD God's up here. Yeah, FD God's behind Funny Astro, but this is all very tight contention. Fuck. This making an order for all this shit is ass. So basically the way that I think I kind of have this set up is like how, like on the left is like how close they are to getting to the next tier. But Slime is definitely down there. Slime is better than okay. Dredro was able to build beat correctly, so I'll move him up a couple points for that, but nothing crazy. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty fair. Honestly, I'm up a Dredro over Moth, to be honest. I'm feeling very petty about this, because I think Dredro is at least in a better position to he's in a position to be a better player in the end, in my opinion, than Moth, who basically is now handicapped at Brig to the point where there are teams that are like, oh man, we really want Moth, but yeah, we should probably get someone that also like knows how to play Brig, so they have to pick around that. That's crazy to me. Again, ideally, I think Mika would be like A or high B tier. But looking at all these, I think Onsoon J was a little better than Closer, if I remember right. I mean, up here, this is very tight between Masa and Juby. But in general, to kind of brisk over all the tiers, I think Nisha and Eviltool are both very well rounded, very well performing main supports, and it shows why they're very standoutish. Nisha has actually been getting so much more love than I thought he would be getting this season, which I'm so happy about. As well as Lee Jae-gon. I mean, Lee Jae-gon's been a top contending main support for a very long time, and I think if the Brig gets polished up a bit, and obviously you don't really know what you're gonna get with Lee Jae-gon, but if we're talking peak performance, Lee Jae-gon, definitely a definitive S tier. And again, going back to A tier, I mean, Masa and Juby are both very well rounded in my opinion. I don't think there's many holes in their gameplay, and I think Juby has a long way to go in terms of basically making Reigns to make his gameplay a step above obviously what it is right now. I think again, the word of the day is fucking polish, basically, where no matter what, it's like if you're in A tier or S tier, worst case scenario is you have the basics down, you just need a little polish. B tier, I liked I liked Funny Astro until I didn't. I think the you know, yeah, I'll just make that really quick. FD God. I want to talk about FD God first, because I think FD God has a lot of potential to be well versed and to be well rounded, as well as I think he's competitive enough to be like hungry to learn Brig, to learn like Mercy, and to keep like exceeding the limits of Lucio and get as good as he needs. I think I see that in him, as well as I mean, Funny Astro, I did not like the Brig. The Brig was definitely a rough one to sit through. We didn't see the Mercy from him, I don't think, but I mean, honestly, I never thought of Mercy as like a make or break character for anyone. So for that reason, I mean, he's in B tier. Faith, I think Faith is well versed, but averagely well versed, in the sense that everything that I think Faith is all around decent. I don't think he's crazy, but he knows what he's doing, and I am very hopeful for his future. Automo, again, was never really offended by his play. I still don't, there's still nothing that's super standoutish about it. Even after reviewing it, I can barely remember a whole lot of like mistakes, as well as things he was doing well. But I think that might just be the name of the game for Automo. So as long as you're not taking my radar as someone that's like into games, I don't have a problem with you. IDK, I think IDK just needs to really clean up the Brig, which I think he could learn from Mika if they allow Mika to teach IDK Brig, or even just have have Mika in for Brig. That'd be so much better in my opinion. But obviously it's a perfect world. Ansun J, I think his heights were definitely with Lucio. I mean, it seemed like everything was going well for Ansun J until the tempo control stuff started coming up, and then like we, meaning you and myself, were very like, I mean, it was very obvious in my opinion to see where his shortcomings were. As well as Closer, I think Closer was good at pretty much everything except Brig, but it was a low ball on Brig, like enough to knock you down to C tier. It was crazy. Toby just was not impressed by anything, I don't think, which I mean might warrant him being closer to D tier, but yeah, fuck him. Anyways, I mean, Kelix, I don't think Kelix is hard inting, but he has a minimal bright spots, which sucks in terms of you wanting to be a competitive main support that is like contending for a top spot. Now, going into Dredro I think made really bad macro decisions, but was good at building pretty, I want to say okay Inspire uptime, but the things like positioning was really not there. I was not feeling it too much, as well as the Mercy was so appalling I had to stop watching. Toby, I don't think is very well versed, especially for a vet. I assumed he would be very average at everything, and not only did he surpass the floor that was my expectations, but he plummeted even harder and did not did not show very many redeeming qualities whatsoever. Which also leads me into Moth, where again, we've already kind of been over that, where basically people think that Lucio and Mercy are supposed to be his like top picks, but I don't see it in Lucio, and the Mercy was getting there. It showed okay understanding of how to play Mercy, but that's also a very shallow character. You don't need that much depth or you don't need to look too deep into playing Mercy to know how she pretty much works. More or less, like the deepest you can go is fucking super jump. That's about it. Anyways, Jexay. I think Jexay, I want to say he looked good somewhere, but he didn't. I mean, same with Mondu and Friday, or not Friday, but wait, where's Friday? Okay, Friday I don't think is here, but if he was, if we're saying Friday is Mika, straight to D tier. Not a fan. Not a fan. This is Friday. Anyways, basically these last 5, again, Friday, I don't think showed any real signs of life in gameplay. Anything that I would want to see in a player of my own when it comes to either building beat correctly, just awareness, like mechanical skill, just in general. It just seems like there's a lot of boxes that aren't getting ticked for a lot of these people down here. So I mean, with that being said, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know if this is a finalized tier list that I would have, but this makes sense to me up to this point. So, I mean, with that being said, I appreciate the fuck out of y'all for watching. If you want to know whenever I upload, follow me on Twitter. I always tweet it out. And with that being said, I will see you when I see you. Later.